This is the Lenovo Legion 5. It's a 15-inch laptop, and we're going to be testing the RTX 5070 in Pragmata. I don't want to see people in the comments be like, is this our 130 watch? It's like, no, because there's no point in doing that. Okay, so let's come in here. We'll start with ray tracing off. We're at quality, but we'll start, you know what, screw it. Let's start with ray tracing on. So let's just turn it up. So high. So high everything, basically. That VRAM is suspect, but we'll see how it runs. Now I am recording this externally. I've been doing this more and more recently because it just makes sure that there's nothing going on with the game capture. I'm always worried about the game capture introducing visual artifacting or something. You know, this game just came out today, and so I want to be able to catch if there's like driver issues or if there's like weird artifacts, that kind of stuff. So I'm doing a lot of external capture like this. It just really does help make sure that I'm not missing anything here. Game capture can introduce weird work. So this is really well. This is running really well. 1600p, native, everything max, no path tracing, but everything else max. And look at that performance. Let's go back to the controller here. It's a little easier to play. Look at that performance though. Wow. This game is very well optimized. I've been running this already today on like a 5050, a handheld, Intel Arc B70, like just all kinds of stuff. And look at how well it runs. Again, I just want to double check the settings here so you know that I'm doing this live. 1600p, ray tracing on, no scaling. Look at that, it's all cranked up. And the VRAM is like, it's just at 8 gigabytes, so it's fine. Everything's cranked up. And we're above, like, what can I do? Can I turn up the game more? No, I can't. Like, I mean, that's all the VRAM we have. That's the one disadvantage of 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and that's going to tell you why. I know, like, Lenovo and a bunch of companies have tried to hide it, but they are coming out with this here. Oh, that killed the performance there big time. They are coming out with the 5070 12 gigabytes. So the same GPU, but it'll have 12 gigabytes of VRAM, which will be good. Because look at all this performance we're leaving on the table. I can't turn this up anymore because it's going to hit the 8 gigabytes of VRAM limit. So I'm actually leaving performance on the table. It's still fine. Like, we're still getting a high FPS. But maybe I want to play this game at 60 FPS. Right? I want to play this at 60 FPS, but I want to turn up the setting. Well, I can't because the VRAM is not there. So, yeah. We're just going to have to basically roll with this here for now. And that's fine. We'll be able to, hopefully down the road, you know, I can retest this when the 12 gigabyte variant comes out and just retest the same game with, you know, the same settings, but crank up a little bit so we can hit more VRAM. So this is running really well. I don't really know what you would want to do. I mean, there's not much more to do. We can throw it in a different performance mode though, so we can come down here and just, you know, maybe you don't have a laptop that can pull 115 watts on the 5070. They are out there. And here is just 70 watts. 73, 74, 75. This should be 75 static. And look at that, we're still above 60. No scaling. Right? I do not have DLSS on. That's the thing you need to notice here. I do not have DLSS on. I don't have frame gen, I don't have anything on. This is very respectable. I'm going to go all the way down to quiet mode. This will drop the performance a lot, but it should still run well because the 5070 is efficient. Look at that. We're still at almost 60. Let's see if it drops down a lot here. If we get into combat here for a second. Oh, you got me. Look at that. Even on silent mode. It's obviously very GPU heavy, which is good. It's not as CPU heavy, I guess, here, potentially. I don't know. We'll come down here, and I will just throw in a little bit of scaling, only because we're at this very, upscaling. We are at this very respectable low wattage situation here. Let's go to balanced. It's going to just fly now. Look at that. Just imagine playing this game on silent mode, just tearing. Hell yeah. Okay, we can't do 1080p because there's no point. We are going to do 4K though. So let's actually go back to the menu. The game is actually pretty. I keep replaying the same part, but it is pretty fun. Let's try 4K. Okay, so now we're going to try some 4K. I think it's going to run just fine, honestly. We may have to play with the settings a little bit. Mainly, more than anything, is a VRAM. That's fine. So 4K, as we can see here. The VRAM is going to be the only worry. Although the textures, well, in these Capcom engines scale more with the settings, not the resolution. So typically it just becomes harder to run. It doesn't actually become more VRAM dependent. A little bit, like it does. You can see it is a little bit above 8. So this is, again, we're on that quality. We're like really high settings here. Let's throw on, balance is going to get us under 8. What does quality give us? Let's go like that. So this is pretty cranked up. And we'll see how that runs. And then probably what I'll do is I'll just turn down the settings ever so slightly, because we're actually battling against VRAM more than performance, as we can see here. That's the nature of these 8 GB GPUs. We're at we're at 60 here now. 4K, a little bit of scaling. It's going to run quite well. I might actually go back and just turn it down just a touch. But I mean, look at this performance, right? Let's try one more thing. I just want to see what we can get by with 4K. This all makes sense. I mean, we're just essentially lowering the resolution at some point. Let the algorithm kick in. There it is. And now you're at, so this is performance scaling. So if you have a 4K screen like me and you want to play the game, yeah, you can. This is settings very high. We'll try a couple more things here. So the next thing we're going to do here, we're going to come back. We're going to go with back to 1440p, maybe something like that, or the internal screen, and we'll try some path tracing. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is see what we can do to get path tracing working. It's not going to be great because the VRAM, like it's literally just going to be a VRAM issue on this thing. Like you'll see here when we turn that on, it's going to go, this is going to go way up, and it may cause like severe VRAM issues. But we'll just kind of see here for a second. It's right at 8. So, I mean, that's ray tracing with path tracing. We do have performance scaling. Frame gen. Let's try it without frame gen. And then we'll see. So that's really cranked up there. I don't think it's going to run well, but every time I say that, I get basically proven wrong, and it ends up running very well. So we'll see. Okay, yeah, so there you go. So that's path tracing. Game maxed out. So we have quality presets, so that's like means very hard to run. And we have path tracing on. We do have scaling, of course, right? Frame gen in this game so far is running quite well. So look at that. So you don't even need frame gen, you can just play like this. This is path tracing, quality preset. I don't remember what the scaling was now because I keep going through things. Was it performance? Performance scaling. But it's going to run really well. It's at 1600p too, so visually I can't really tell that scaling's on because it's such a high output resolution that I'm not seeing like jankies or anything like that. And this is just a 60 experience with path tracing with scaling. You could also just throw it in 1080p or 1200p and just probably not use scaling. But I prefer to use the native rendering output, but then use scaling internally. Okay, so the last thing, because it's running so well, we will do path tracing. There was no point in doing path tracing without without having path tracing on, because there was no point using frame generation without path tracing on, because it was running so well that it wasn't needed. So we will put on frame gen, and I'm only doing it because we have everything cranked way up, and we're also at like a 60-ish base frame rate, and there's your very high frames. The only problem here is the lows don't come up, but it still feels fine. You'll notice that I always put frame gen at the end of my videos. I'm not the biggest frame gen guy. If the performance is okay before turning it on, then I'm okay with it. But you have to have 60, and I would rather play with the settings, turn the settings down slightly, or use more scaling and that kind of stuff before I would turn on frame gen. That's just the way that I roll. But this is running quite well. Very, very good on the 5070. Exceptional performance, to be honest. And yeah, that's it. That's the 5070. 115 watt. Again, you can get a 130 watt variant of this, but it doesn't really do anything. Like that, adding that little bit of extra performance, extra watts doesn't really add much performance. Maybe like a frame or two here and there. I don't think he likes that at all.